One of the most beloved characters in all of From is Victor Kavanaugh, the man who has been here the longest of any From resident to date, the man who has survived over 40 years as a child in the woods by himself and was able to manipulate the monsters, hide and feed himself for over 40 years. But what if I told you all of that is a hoax? In this video, I'm going to break down how Victor's memory is 100% nothing we can rely on, and at some points, he straight up lies to the people of Fromville. Victor's timeline. Now, we are led to believe that Victor, as a child, survived this place all by himself, that nobody was there to help him until Donna and everybody else from this chapter was able to come in, and that's when he got the help that he needed. Now, this is 100% wrong and impossible. We have seen from the first episode that these monsters have no problem killing children. And to think that this man survived 40 years when the town itself with adults in there barely survived 40 days without an incident is just something that can't be washed away. Victor claims that his mother told him to hide in the root cellar away from Christopher because Christopher was going crazy. And Victor is the one who told his mother that he saw Christopher talking to Jasper, and that is the reason why she needed to go to the bottle tree in order to save the children. Victor's mother took him at his word and then went off to the bottle tree. Then he conveniently remembers that no, it wasn't Jasper that was talking to him, but the boy in white. And also that he had a whole sister that he forgot 100% about.
This?
That's... Eloise said that's where my mother went that night. The night that bad things happened.
Now, I don't want to call the man a liar, but if Eloise drew this picture and told him this, when did she do that? Because we see that immediately after Miranda left Victor, Eloise ran right off behind her, and Victor was left there alone.
Christopher would go to the tree, so... I told my mother what the boy in white said.
And that's what got his mother to go off and search for this faraway tree. But Eloise could not have told him that she was going through that tree in order to get to the lighthouse, because Eloise was already gone by then. So how did Victor know to go to the lighthouse and know that this bottle tree would take Tabitha to the lighthouse? And when we look at the junkyard that Victor claims that he moved all these cars there by himself to get them out the way, we can see a 1977 Ford Pinto. We see a 1978 Ford Fairmont wagon. We also see a 1980s Citation, and over in the corner, a 1981 Pontiac Grand Prix. So all these cars that are there are not from the 70s. There are some there from the 80s. So that means that people had to arrive in between the time that Victor claimed everybody died during the massacre and when we see our first characters. But what happened to all of these people, and why does Victor never talk about those group of people that actually helped him survive there? Because if you think the guy survived on cans of peaches this whole time by himself, well, you would be shocked to know, well, really not shocked to know, that you could only survive on canned peaches 3 months, and then you would die. Yet when I look at Victor's drawings, I think that one picture guarantees exactly how everybody went out the last time and why everybody went out the last time. In this picture, we can clearly see that there is a flood. There is somebody on a roof and somebody laying on the roof. If we go back and look at the car graveyard, we can see that most of these cars are rusted to the point where they look like they got flooded out. Why would Victor keep that to himself? Why wouldn't he tell the people that, hey, there's a chance that there could be a flood here? And that's what washed away all of the bodies, not him burying every single one of them. Why would he keep all that to himself? You would think that would be important information that he wants to give up. And why do they specifically want to keep Victor alive in this place? Because this whole place was built on the memories of Victor. Is it a coincidence that Victor finds himself a nice truck full of peaches? And we know he loves peaches because he has peach wallpaper in his room that Henry shows us. And he also has a very similar globe to the one that Kenny used to store his memories inside of his room. And the exact same gun that he had in Fromville is the one that we see in his father have with Tabitha. Fromville is a manifestation matrix. It is a reactive psychic entity that has no original physical form on its own. It's truly a blank slate. When people cross over to this threshold, the town scans their subconscious minds, their memories, and their deepest traumas, and it literally skins the environment using the pieces of their past. It replicates objects, it duplicates emotional baggage. Think about it. Victor is this scared child that literally witnessed the end of a massacre. Most likely, he wants his father's comfort. So what does the town do? It can't give him his father. It gives him his father's gun. If Victor then needs some comfort food to get him through the rough time, the town then manifested a lifetime supply of peaches from his bedroom wall. And they let Victor live because his mind was the only anchor left alive. Fromville used his childhood memories as a literary architectural blueprint for the modern layout of this town. Kenny's globe, the town's aesthetics, the supply chains, they are all fragments of Victor's brain leaked into this physical reality. Earlier in this video, we talked about a flood that happened in Fromville, but how could that possibly be connected to Victor? Well, in season 3, Tabitha tracks down Victor's childhood home, and it turns out to be Camden, Maine. This is a real world coastal town. If you map out the show's timeline, Victor's world ended in 1978 when Christopher committed the massacre. But what else happened in 1978? Well, in February of that exact same year, Maine was struck by the Great Blizzard of 1978. It wasn't just a snowstorm, it was a catastrophic historical disaster. Hurricane force winds caused massive coastal floodings, rewriting the shoreline, smashing seaside homes, and submerging the streets. Just 2 years earlier, a flash flood in the same region swallowed nearly 200 cars in a matter of minutes. Victor carried the terrifying real world trauma from the 1978 Maine floods across the threshold into this town. And because Fromville is a manifestation matrix that pulls directly from his brain, the real world disaster leaked into the town's physics. And on Victor's map drawing, it just so happens right where it says 1978, that is exactly where Victor used to track all of the weather that happened in From. And we also seen that we had a snow time happen in the show last season. These are patterns that they're trying to show us that Victor is the cause of everything that we're seeing. They are using all the thoughts from his brain up until this time to manifest all the evil things we have seen in this show. And it seems that this place doesn't take trauma from adults. It specifically takes the trauma from children and then displays it inside of the town. Sarah said that her brother was afraid of the bugs when he was a child, and then we seen the bugs get displayed after that situation. When we look at the whole situation with Tabitha and the dolls, it looked pretty clear to me that she was the one who was extremely upset that her dolls got thrown in that water, and she is the reason why those dolls came back to life. And all these Ankui children look like they were basically experimented on and drowned, which is why their skin is so pale white. And it all lines up with everything I told you earlier. And now we see that they're doing it with Ethan, putting his books, the memories he has of those books, into this town. And that is the next phase that we're on. Also, let's not forget, and I pointed this out to a lot of people all the way back in season 1 when I was one of the few people covering this show, that they posted a whole list of the people who played the characters in this show. And we can clearly see that Vox Smith, the boy who plays the boy in white, his name is labeled as Victor. So what does that mean? Is Victor the boy in white? Go check out my video where I tell you how the boy in white, the man in yellow, and Martin are the exact same person. What it means is that the boy in white was manifested as a companion to Victor by this place and the purity of Victor, of what he had before he was corrupted by Fromville. But is this sci-fi or is this supernatural? That's the biggest question you're probably asking yourself. And I would say that this is more sci-fi. But I will give the case for sci-fi and supernatural right now, and then it's up to you to decide what's going on. Let's think about Star Trek The Next Generation and how the holodeck works. It uses a combination of replicated matter, force fields, to turn data files into solid, tangible reality. You can eat food. You can throw a rock. It feels 100% real. But what happens when the holodeck malfunctions? We've seen it many a times on Star Trek. The safety protocol fails. The program gets stuck in a loop, or the computer starts pulling random, corrupted data from the ship's main memory banks to create an environment. The system needs to populate the environment with assets. It scans Victor's subconscious mind, takes the file for the peach wallpaper or the bedroom globe, and uses its matter replication technology to materialize them into this simulation. When Victor's mind was processing the trauma of the historic 1978 Maine flood, the system scanned that emotional data and it spiked. It didn't just log it, it literally put it inside of his memory with the lighthouse, the blowhorns, and the rising water into this simulation's routine. Now, if this is a supernatural situation, then I would say, I told you once before, that if they're in any dimension that could do this, it would be a nightmare dimension. That these people somehow stumbled upon a nightmare dimension. Not that they're asleep, but they are living inside this nightmare dimension where things can be manifested more like a Freddy Krueger style situation. Those are the two things I could see it being, but you tell me in the comment section, do you think that this whole thing is manifested from children's minds, everything that we see in here, through a holodeck situation or also through some type of nightmares? They said that the children, right, were the ones who created the faraway trees in here. That's what they said, and that's what we see. It seems to be all from the minds of children, and a lot of this is from Victor's mind. Again, you tell me in the comment section. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.